How's everyone's day coming along? Mine is absolutely phenomenal, man. I wanted to just enjoy the air today. So I changed my scenery a little bit, a little different, y'all. Uh, but don't pay my background no never mind. I just wanted to be outside this morning, and it's a beautiful morning. Big overcast, cloudy. A little dark, but still beautiful. Again, nothing like the fresh air to me. I absolutely love it. Joining us, man. I've known this guy. I've known this guy his entire adult life.
Adult life.
Uh, and it's crazy because I saw him fresh out of Southern. He comes back home and he immediately jumps into the process of doing work, helping kids. He was a very big part of the Donaldsonville community straight out of college. Um, didn't know which direction he wanted to go in. I think that's fair to say, but he did know that in all of his efforts, he wanted to work with and help young kids, and that's what he did. And everybody's avenue that they travel down doesn't always equate to the same fundamental basis, I guess. Sometimes you jump in the water and it may just be a short, shallow creek, and the paddling is maybe a little tougher because in shallow that means it may be more mud. But sometimes you may go jump in the water and you're in a canal, and it has that depth for the water or for the paddle to be able to flow through the water
Yeah.
for you to paddle more steadily. And I think with this young man here, he's had a mixture of both. He's had some tough times, again, trying to learn how to become a coach and how to do things the right way. And now he's into that place in space where paddling is a little bit more easier, and he knows the direction he wants to go in. I'm really super ecstatic for this young man. I fussed him though. I fussed him. Y'all know I fussed him. But he is now, and please let us welcome Washington Marion Charging Indians head football coach Dio Bernard.
Welcome, 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 welcome.
Yes, yes.
Man, great introduction. Great introduction, Howard. You didn't leave anything out, brother. Just as you said, like we met each other in the Lemon Center,
Yeah,
dealing
yeah,
with the rec ball, and it was hot. You was one of the older coaches who knew the game, and I was one of the younger coaches that Mr. Spencer Harvey entrusted me to, deal with the youth, and
right.
we would go into some battles, it was heated confrontations, it was my swag ways coming out against your ways, it never was negative to where we couldn't have a conversation after the games or after such and such. And, you know, even younger Dio, was hoping just always messing with somebody. He don't
Oh
let
yeah.
nobody be them, but
It,
you actually sharpened me up for the situation I'm in right now. So I want to say thank you, bro. Like for all
I
that.
don't know what I did, man. I'm just again, if I'm older and I'm supposed to be wiser,
Yeah,
and I'm supposed to have more experience, if I'm not willing to freely pass that experience along,
yeah,
then what am I doing?
yeah. You're right.
I'm being a hindrance because I've always wanted to see everybody win.
Yeah, yeah,
And again, I think growing up under I gotta thank Spencer Harvey too as
yeah,
well. Bro.
yeah.
You know, I'm not from here, but he gave me an opportunity to come over there and coach. And again, everybody, because I am the guy that's always been extremely vocal.
Yeah.
Uh, Everybody always said a guy who talks the loudest knows the least, but I've always proven everyone wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
we went in our first year, and although we didn't win, we played in the international tournament. Um, go in the Lemon Center and see who got a banner on the wall.
Well, the banner's down now. They took all the banners down.
No.
Yeah. Like we're gonna have to speak off record on that. I don't want to get too caught up in that. I don't think this the conversation. I don't want my first public interview, to be about no drama, So we're gonna have to go off the record on that. Yeah,
we'll talk about that off. And I'm gonna have to call Mayor Sullivan.
Yeah, bro.
We gotta, we cannot let. I think it's two banners was up there.
Yeah, it should be more. More.
And it probably should.
Yeah, because I went in with the girls, and then it was. I don't want to get there. I don't want to get there. Right?
Let's go here though. Can we stay in Biddy? Can we stay in Biddy?
Yeah.
And you've always been a football guy.
Yeah.
But Biddy is solely about basketball.
Yeah.
When you look back at your process of starting and although you played basketball growing up, what was the different mindset that you had to use in coaching young kids and you being a young coach yourself, but having to understand that the energy that you guys played with in college at Southern, or if you're playing in an adult flag league after college, and you know the pace and what you're supposed to be doing versus what you had to learn to be able to change the mentality of those young kids. What was that like for you, Dio?
Oh, well, when I walked in, I try, and my main goal was to make myself relatable, by being from the community. I know exactly what a lot of those kids was going through. I think I had the upper edge because I would ride around town and look and see who's on the court playing ball, look and see who's in the backyard or just in their front driveway, and I would just pull over and just, hey, pull them through some drills. And it wouldn't be basically basketball drills. It might be footwork drills. It might be on the ladder. I might put out a parachute because kids from my community, when they would see things like that, like just small things like workout stuff, they were sold on whatever I was trying to sell them, whatever information I was trying to give them, they was on to it. So even when I started off as a Biddy coach in Downsville, that was one of the things. I had one of the parents like, hey, coach, we ain't gonna pull out a ball. And I took on the scene once again, like just trying to train a lot of kids.
Right.
I started off, I had the Zoom Boom training, then it went to the Cover 3 Academy. And then my main goal was once again, just get those guys with some type of work ethic. Because me growing up, I didn't have that. I used a lot off of talent, like off of raw ability and just knowing the game. So when I went and played college ball, that's when I seen that how the work ethic would take your game to another level. So I started doing that close to home. I started just seeing kids, just offering kids to come to the gym, work out. It was sometimes coaches would get mad, like, hey man, you trying to steal my kids? Nah, I'm just want to work kids out. Like I'm not trying to steal. I'm not trying to draft. I'm not trying to do no trades or anything. It's just that once again, kids will elevate to something new and something exciting. That's why I kind of tip my hat off to guys who doing the same things I did with them, like Cortez Mitchell, who's now head coach in Houston, Texas, where he just won the state championship in track. Got another guy named Drew Roseman. Drew Roseman now, he's giving back to the community where he's training. And I remember me coaching those guys. I remember those guys riding the back of my mom's truck that I borrowed to go on Biddy All-Star games. So it's great now to see those guys. Even Percy Cargo, he's another one.
Right.
You know, like those guys are. Uh, I'm not gonna say following my footsteps, and I'm not gonna say walking in my shadow, but those guys seen with the hard work that people like Spencer did. Because I even remember the days Mr. Spencer Hall would come get me from my house, and we would go in his backyard, and I would be pitching, and he was the catcher. But I never did at the time understand what I was doing, you
Right.
know. But you know, I'm pitching with Mr. Spencer 3 weeks before the season start. So now when baseball do start and we signing up, I'm like, oh, I'm sharp. I'm hitting the strike zone. Like I'm learning stuff. I'm developing my game before I even know it. And once again, I just tried to pass that on down into my community and see him his work because we got guys that even though he didn't play college ball, Devin Allen, you know, he's big in developing kids too. And I think that's the big success that our city been having off of the high school programs is what we have built and what we have gained into the rec program. I kind of walk away from the rec because I seen that being a rec director, I was paying more money out to officials, and that's when you see me, Hobart, doing high school officiating to where I was like, now I want to just now not only reach my community, I want to reach kids, you know, through all over the state. And that's why I got into refereeing because I can get on the AU circuit. I get in the high school circuit. So now it may be that one little jewel that I'm telling the kid that he could take from time to time. I could tell you one thing you told me, Hope, and since this day, um, I stick with it. You know, you've been reffing. I met you reffing. And you looking at me like, boy, what I told you.
Yeah, I'm trying.
You say, man, why you walking in the gym with your shoes on? You can have a rock in the bottom of your shoes and get out there on that court and slip. And you can't make no money at your job, and you can't make no money reffing.
Right,
I say, you
right.
know what? That makes sense. You know, that makes a whole lot of sense. But I was a new ref, wanted to show my flashy Air Max shoes and walking out with my beat headphones on because once again, I want to be relatable. So now
Right.
when I make a call and I'm trying to explain myself to a kid, he'll stop and listen instead of trying to chew me out because he feel like I'm an old school cat or, you know, I'm a ref, I don't know no better or nothing like that. So, you
Right.
know, I kind of just took that basically in life, you know. So
I can tell you this though, Coach Dio, and this is just my experience. I don't know if a lot of people are gonna agree with it or not, but be it from a coach's perspective or an official's perspective, once a kid sees that you know what you're talking about and that you can maybe not still do it at the level that you once did it at, but what you're telling them to do is right and correct, those kids are gonna listen to you forever.
yeah, yeah,
You know, I had kids that I coached when they were young kids, growing up with the East Side Raider family, and to this day, and that was 15 plus years ago. To this day, those kids still call me coach wherever they see me, and it's respect and love. So it is the little things that make your coaching journey much more rewarding, in my opinion, from a standpoint or vantage point of just knowing little tricks and little trades that
yeah,
will help a kid be faster or help a kid be smarter. Or I like to tell kids because it's what I was taught. You gotta learn how to pull the chair out from under a dude sometimes.
yeah, yeah,
You if you don't know how to do that defensively, you don't know how to play basketball.
yeah,
And so when you look at that journey, fast forward till start a bitty journey till you decided to really go at high school sports full tilt. What helped you make that decision and come to that decision?
Um, I just seen once again, kids be able to revitate to what I say, just kind of buy into my ideas, and you know, I seen a lot of high school coaches doing it for years. What I mean by doing, I mean by just coaching, but it wasn't no relationship. You know,
Right.
it was almost like a situation to where they was just working for the check. You know, and I got into coaching without getting paid.
Right.
And I did it. I did high school coaching without getting paid for 5 years. I was a state championship coach at White Castle to where I was only getting paid $200 a month. You know, and it was a situation to where I was fine with because I came from the recreation league and situation to where you did it for free. So to get some type of money just to have gas or just to have enough money to eat or to get back and forth. Now it wasn't my whole financial living situation because I did have a little job, but it was just a little money, something on the side. And I was fine with at the time not getting into the certification role of being a teacher and or being a certified teacher. I'm never going to say a certified coach because I do think that they should make a rule that you should be a certified coach to coach kids instead of just a teacher or just a person who don't know the game to coach. Because I think when you're coaching, I think that you have an effect on a kid, not just in that year, but in a lifelong span.
Man, I'm sitting here listening to you say this, and I said, Lord, if I open this can of worms,
No.
if I open this can of worms, y'all know I don't usually do this, but my ass is gonna be grass, and somebody's gonna be mowing me over.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if we can we pause that? That
yeah.
may be.
Phone combo.
No, I'm not afraid to have it online because I agree with you.
Yeah,
I 100% agree with you. But here's the problem with that. Most school boards or independent school districts don't hire coaches. They hire teachers that happen
to coach.
to coach.
Yes, yes, yes.
And they will slap you in the face with that. They don't care how certified you are.
Yeah.
You're certified in that classroom.
Mm-hmm.
But what the hell? We here now. If in using your words, if a coach is certified that he not only knows but understands the principles and philosophies that go with challenging a kid mentally,
Yeah,
elevating their agility, speed, and skill set.
Yeah.
And now that translation or transformation where you need to take the things you've used or learned, and now you need to put that into gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Now that becomes a little bit easier for the athlete.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not talking about any coach.
Yeah, or any teacher.
Or any teacher.
Yeah.
But sometimes we do see kids that play these positions that just haven't got bigger, just haven't gotten stronger, just haven't gotten faster, just haven't got an IQ equivalency upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
And so how does that kid reach his next level if there hasn't been bigger, stronger, faster IQ growth? So hey, I got you. I'm about to. You know how we was live and we go to the canal.
Yeah.
Y'all call it the bayou.
We call it the bayou.
Yeah, we call it the canal in North Louisiana. So, you skip a rock down the canal.
Mm-hmm.
And so you said you were a state championship coach before becoming a certified teacher, or if you were even teaching then.
I wasn't even teaching. I was doing a little subbing on the side, but once again, it was just to make ends meet. I was actually around that time when I was at White Castle, I was working at John Fox.
Okay.
At the food factory. I was riding a forklift. Got on with a guy. He asked, "You know how to drive forklift?" I said, "Yeah." Go in the freezer. Might have stayed in the freezer 15 minutes. He said, "Coach, what's wrong?" Because everybody knew me as Coach then. He was like, "Coach, what's wrong? Why you having trouble getting out?" Because I'm in there trying to drive the forklift like a car. I'm pulling up, bagging up. I ain't doing nothing but a zero turn. But I found out that day.
I'm not gonna even laugh at you from
that day.
Coach, because I don't know one person, me included. I've been a paid forklift operator who, when they went on the job, say they knew how to drive a forklift.
Everybody, they look like it's easy. Yeah, I could do that.
And didn't know what the dog they were doing.
Yeah. Oh man, didn't know what the dog. Don't tell me you had to put stuff high right.
Right. The stand-up lift was the worst, man.
Oh Lord.
Hey, so how much did having won a state championship before you were not just a certified teacher, but even a full-time sub, just being a CCP coach, how much did winning a state championship with White Castle motivate you and encourage you to want to become more, or not more, because you're already doing the job, but to be in that position where you're respected by your peers? Because in coaching, that's everything, to be respected by your peers that you walk that journey with, or that you look across the field against, and you're competing against that coach. And we know it happens. We know he ain't certified. He just CCP. He ain't shit.
Yeah.
How much does that motivate you?
It's funny as you say that, because I was coached and I was raised by my father, Lord Bernard, who always raised me to be humble, and always was like, you don't brag on your accomplishments, don't brag on your achievements. And even when I was coaching, or even when I was playing ball, at Southern University, and we would win. Coach Pete Richardson, he was like, we supposed to do that, like we supposed to win it. Right. And like winning at White Castle, I kind of felt that way. I didn't boast, I didn't brag on it. And my friends would tell me all the time, like, man, you just start telling people you're a state championship coach, like put it in their face. And I wasn't that type of guy to do that, but like you said, it did motivate me, because after I won it, and the funny story about that, I was coaching at Downsville before I went to White Castle, right? So 12/10/2010, I was let go from Downsville. Let go. Principal said they wanted to go another direction, only because I was CCP. That word, non-faculty. So they could just, anytime they want to remove you, they could remove you. And I had to learn that. So what's crazy about that, 365 days later, a year later, I won the state championship with White Castle. And I cried like a baby. I cried because it hit me that I went through a 1 year, I like, damn, my own hometown, they say they don't need me, your hometown telling you don't need you and all you do for the kids. But once you say it, they don't care how certified and qualified you are. They had room to where they could bring in a faculty coach, so they brought in a faculty coach.
And I'm gonna say this, and again, everybody know, man, I'm not a messy man.
Yeah, you're not.
But I'm gonna say this.
You speak facts.
It doesn't, like, the rejection part more than anything else is probably what kicked you in the gut and took all the air out you. But even after winning, I'm sure you probably said, well, man, if White Castle saw some value in me,
somebody else can.
Right.
Somebody else can. And that's when I went to Scotlandville. Went to Scotlandville High. And that's when I met you at Scotlandville. And you like, man, I didn't know you was over here.
I was in shock.
It's all funny. It's all the 360, because you just started OTB then. You just started off the bench. And you came, you interviewed Carlos Sample. and you interview Lester Ricard.
Yeah.
And it's funny that now we are talking about that because at that time, while you was in your journey, I was in my journey. You
Right.
know, and look where I'm at now. To where now, well, that was 5 years ago. You know,
We don't want to talk. Well, do we?
what's that? Do we what?
How can so I like to build too. I like to build too, and I want to hear from Donaldsonville to White Castle to Scotlandville to ESJ, what you learned in each of those processes that gave you the courage, the phenomenal courage to go and get a bachelor's of whatever, to go and get your certification, to going and being on the LHSA website and job A, job B, job C, job D, Washington, Marion. I need that process.
All
Can
right.
can you talk to us about that?
Well, like you say, it was a point to where I was like, okay, now I have to get certified. I want my own team, basically. I didn't help many teams be successful by being an assistant coach, and it was a lot that I picked up good to do, and it was a lot that I picked up you shouldn't do. And
Right.
I think that kind of helped me mold me in my 16 years of being an assistant coach. I think it really helped me real well. To where once again, it just put me in a place to where I had a vision, and I just needed a place to go out and shine my vision and put out and broadcast what I want to do. And like you said, leaving Scotlandville, I went to Assumption, and at Assumption High for 1 year under Key Menard. I finished and finally got certified. And once I got certified, he ended up resigning. So he ended up resigning and made me the interim coach. I was the interim coach. I applied for the job, thought I had the job. Things didn't go that way. They wanted me to kind of help groom and work with another coach who was there. And I was like, I'm done with the grooming. You know, if if I'm really done with helping another program be successful and another guy reap the benefits,
Right.
all the benefits. He's going to be named coach of the year, because in high school, they don't have a coordinator of the year. They don't have assistant coach of the
Right.
year awards. So it's like, you know what? I'm going for it. So um, I talked to one of my best friends, Darwin Pittman. He's from the Platte area, and he's like, man, you need to get with Coach Brandon Brown. So in that movement, I was talking to Coach Brandon Brown, I was talking to Coach Robert Valdez, and I was talking to Coach Davis, because at that point, I'm like, okay, these are three successful coaches from in my area, which we call the River Parish. Um, what are these guys doing? And I'm like, if I don't get a head coaching job somewhere, I'm gonna go be assistant coach under a guy who already has an established program.
Right.
So now I'm not actually helping. I'm learning. I'm
Right.
sharpening up my tools. I'm becoming a better head coach. And I would talk to Coach Valdez every day. He had one of my best friends on the staff. Herbert Washington was his offensive coordinator, and I would talk to Coach Brandon Brown every day, who his quarterback coach and offensive coordinator at the time was Darwin Pittman. And I would talk to them both, and they would try to help me through that process. They both helped me through that process at Assumption, through the interview process of questions I may be getting, questions that I may be prepared for. And I told both, I said, look, coaches, if I get it, I'm going to end up offering you one of your guys a job. And I just want to be straightforward, because I look at it as, in this coaching world, if you don't be straight up and you don't let people know exactly what you're trying to do, they're going to burn you on the back end. This coaching world is a fraternity. It's a big, big fraternity. Everybody know everybody. If I don't be truthful, if I don't be honest, it's going to come back on me. They're going to come back around. They're going to bite me in the butt. So I told Coach Brandon, I said, look, Coach, I'm going to offer Coach Pittman a job if I get it. I said, but if I don't get the job, I want to know, do you have a spot for me to join your staff? And like, oh, yeah, man, sure. And I didn't get the job, and when I got the call saying they hired William Broussard, who's the head coach at Assumption right now, I made the phone call to Coach Brown. I said, "Look, let's make this happen." And he said, when you come down to meet the principal, I said, I'll be down there in 5 minutes if you give me time. So I got in the car, drove down, met with the principal. Me and the principal sit down, we talked, and they offered me the job. And funny story, the coach at Assumption, Coach Broussard, was like, "Okay, coach, I'm gonna have you for the spring." And I'm like, "Yeah, coach, you got me for the spring, And the whole time I was going to drive to Assumption, not Assumption, East St. John, to coach at their spring practice, because I didn't really fully sign any paperwork yet. So learning that, like, well, hold up, I can't really say too much because I don't actually not hired yet. It's just word of mouth right now. So, after that happened, I got on paperwork. I called Assumption, told Assumption, and thank you for everything, but I won't be coming back because I'm joining East St. John. And I said when I went to East St. John, I told Coach Brown, I said, Coach Brown, I'm going to give you 2 years of my life. I'm going to give you 2 years of being the best assistant coach I could be, and I just want to sit there and learn. I'm not going to look for a job nowhere else. And they had jobs popping up left and right. West St. John popped up. Had some other job in Plaquemine High popped up. Had several jobs were popping up, and I was like, I'm gonna just sit here and ride it out. And I wrote it out those 2 years, and I got a text message. It was breaking news, and the breaking news was Brian Richardson was no longer going to be the head coach at Donaldsonville High. So I got all my stuff together, resume, interview process, my portfolio, all my old questions I know I'm going to be asked. And I'm like, let's go. Put the application in, and I'm sitting back, and I'm like, okay, check my email every morning. Nothing about an interview. Checking. I'm like, damn, a couple of days go by. I'm like, what's wrong? I ain't get an email. So I did know that Devin Bro, who I coach, and Percy Cargo, who I coach, they interviewed too. Well, not interviewed, they applied. They applied too. So I called them and asked them to say, hey, bro, did y'all get an interview date yet? And they were like, yeah, mine's tomorrow. I'm like, whoa, tomorrow. So I'm like, once again, man, let me call it, or let me see, did I send the wrong email? Or did I put the wrong info to where they don't have my communication? Because I'm just sitting here knowing I'm going to get an interview. And they get an interview. And was kind of down about it. Wasn't even selected for an interview. So, it is what it is. So I got on the website, went first school pop up, Washington Marion. And I ain't even scrolled down and seen other schools. I just went straight, sent my resume out to the AD now, Deidre Jones. It was funny. Deidre Jones played college football with Aaron Green from Donaldsonville. So things just kind of like, okay, it would be great for me to go out somewhere far the distance where people don't know who I am. And, they wouldn't expect nothing good and wouldn't expect nothing bad. They just sit back and see and wait, what can I bring to the program? So
right.
That happened. I did a Zoom interview. They gave me the choice to do a Zoom or do it in person. And I told them I would do it Zoom. But an hour later, after I told Coach Brown, I said, yeah, Coach, I got an interview, to Washington Marion. It's a Zoom meeting. And he was like, Coach, I think you should drive down there and show them how bad you want it. Like, it's all good. You can do a Zoom, but drive down there, show them that you're the guy. Like, you're not worried about the distance. You're not worried about the travel. You are there to make an impact. And I called them back and I was like, could I do it in person? And by the time they reached out to me and told me that I can do it in person, it was like 8 that morning and my interview was at 9. I'm like, ain't no way I can get from Donaldsonville to Lake Charles in an hour. I need 2.5 at least get dressed and travel and prep myself going into the interview. So I did the Zoom, blew them out the water, and 2 days later they called me and said, "Look, coach, we want you to come in and do an interview. You know, you made it to the finals. We
Uh,
had 12 people. I made it to the final three. So went in last of the final three, and in that interview process that day, everyone before me was like 15 to 20 minutes. But that day, they kept me in there for an hour and a half. So, well, when I went in, it was getting dark outside. And I called my dad, told my dad, Dad, I got it. Like just the questions they put me through and the stuff I would even have prepared before they even asked me. It was questions I would ask them that they now added to their new process of interviewing any coach now in the district, you know. So, you know, they called me a month later or 2 weeks later and told me that I had the job. And a month between the process, I was moving in. I was being selected the head coach, and you know, I like you said, I got the job. I don't have my charge. My computer's going dead.
oh, that ain't good.
That ain't good at all. Trying to see if I got a charge in here. Go ahead. Let's kind of finish up.
So the journey has been a great journey for you. You go. Let's try to do this real quick. You had a chance. I'll say a couple of months to start getting to know your kids.
Yeah.
Um, Spring football game comes up. Who do you guys
Well,
have?
we face Ville Platte and Westminster. Now that's funny you asked that because when I first day on the job, I get in and we didn't have a spring opponent, we didn't have a fall game, we didn't have a jamboree. So it was a lot that I'm happy that I learned under Coach Brown and other coaches, like things you have to do when you get in, you get the job. So funny you say that because once again, I go online and look for a spring opponent. First, first opponent I see open. First opponent I see open, they're looking for a opponent. Donaldsonville High. So I'm calling all my friends. I'm like, man, you think I should call and ask? You think I should do it? Because at this time, I don't want to make it look like I'm on some petty stuff trying to get back. I don't want to make it like it's trying to be more than the game, you know. And I call and I reach out and they say they had Livonia, and I was like, let's, can I join? And Coach Lee was like, yeah, Coach, you could join. And 2 days after that, I get a phone call from Scotlandville High. They looking for a opponent. So the schools that I've been at, it's funny that they call it looking for a scrimmage. So I told Scotlandville, yeah, we coming because it's a little closer to Lake Charles, and I committed to it. And on the break, it may have been an Easter break. On the Easter break, I got a phone call from the coach of Ville Platte. No, it was the Mardi Gras break. I got a phone call from the Ville Platte coach, and he was like, "Oh, coach, new coach at Ville Platte coming from Madison Prep. His name is Christopher Bland. So I know Bland real well before when I was in the Baton Rouge area coaching. And he was like, Coach, I'm new in the area. You new in the area. Let's make this happen. We'll come to you. So my coaches had come back on of the proper thing to do. Like, well, it's best for us to stay home and kind of generate money for the spring game. We could kind of control my own environment, how things want things to be. And we played Ville Platte and we played Westminster. And leaving that game, once again, when you always doing well, when you do things the right way, you don't notice your achievements. You don't look for them because it's a standard to you, the way you do things. So when you're doing well, your standard to you, it goes unnoticed to yourself, and leaving the game, once again, I had the whole referee crew just came up to me like, Coach, we're so honored that we had the chance to do your game. We look forward to doing all your games this year. This football program looks like night and day. It's a big 360. I was hearing from people in the stands while the game was going on, but that's fans who could be fanatics. So by me hearing it from outsiders, me hearing from officials, guys that don't have no ties to the school, was a big blessing on me. Like, I really feel real good after that. Now we still got a lot of work to do, but just knowing from where I took it from before I got here 2 years. They had two losing seasons, 0-10 and 1-9. And I took over the program from 2 months of lifting weights and 2 months of getting disciplined and still 8 days, 8 days of spring practice. Because one of the days it rained, so we didn't get 9. Or the spring game would have made 10. Had 8 days, and 8 days, my boys, they're real pleased with me. Like I was real impressed. Of course we're gonna have some penalties because that's football.
Right.
You're gonna get some holding calls. You're gonna get some outside because the guy who was just so excited to make a play and get out there and show off for the coach.
Can we do this real quick, Coach?
Yeah.
You sent me some videos. You sent me a
Yeah.
little. Can we go through it real quick and you talk about it as time permits with your laptop situation?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Track guys, and
Whoa,
like
whoa. You watched the? Did you see the highlight on the screen?
Yeah, I seen it. Yeah, I seen it.
Okay. So when we look at that, couple of counters, end around. Let's see. Let's try to show it once again, man. It goes really quick. And now we're not going to be able to talk about this, Coach, till after
okay,
it goes off the screen.
Okay.
So we had two counters. Oh, and let me do this as well. You sent me the video, but the video came from Curtis Tillman, who shared
Craig.
I'm sorry, Craig Tillman, who shared it to his social media pages. So, hey, thank you, Craig, for your video. And two counters. A dump off to the look like a tight end seam pass. Oh, that was it, y'all. Man, we'll have to try to get Coach Dio back on at some time. Really great conversation with Coach Dio Bernard, new head coach at Washington Marion, home of the Chargin Indians. And we want to thank you guys for joining us. Starting, I think, something new, different that we're going to be doing with athletes that are not per se from a high school perspective. We'll see. Check us out Sunday. Thank you. Remember, get off the bench, get into the game.